Good morning everyone, Butterboy's back for part 2 of our vlog of the course building. We're going to start off today where we left off, so this would be hole 6. The weather is not as good as you can see behind me, a lot of clouds, but it's supposed to be a little bit nicer later on hopefully, so the grass is still super wet. So if you all recall, this is the pin that we just threw on for hole 5. And originally I was going to have hole 6 down this way, down this little alley. Might not end up doing that because there's no one in the park right now, but there's still cars parked over here. So that leads me to believe that there's just always cars that are going to be over here. There's one car in the exact spot where I wanted to have the T-pad. There's a white car here. That white car parked there. And there's no one else in the park really. So that just leads me to believe it's just a bad location for a T-pad. So I was going to have a couple potential launch T-pads over there, but I might have to reassess that unfortunately, which is pretty disappointing. So I'm kind of walking around trying to determine where I would like to reposition that T-pad at one spot. And maybe it's just depends on what cars are here. One alternate spot could be over by where I parked currently. Check this out. This is a pad that we had determined would potentially be for hole 7. Something like that, remember? Well, we could use this as both. Hole's right there, not very far, but you do have to deal with this low ceiling here. Kind of a straight little putter shot could be interesting. It's a little bit of a variability from the other shots that we've been looking at thus far. A lot of like 200 to 300 foot hyzer, maybe 400 foot hyzer shots that we've done thus far. This would be more of a straight putter, laser beam shot, forehand hole perhaps, but you cannot do a hyzer. There's really no hyzer line from here. So this is something a little bit different. Just trying to vary up the shots as much as I can. So I actually kind of like this more than the original idea I had anyways. So let's, I'm going to throw a couple discs from here. I actually brought my tripod too, so I might just throw a couple, see how I feel. Well, I don't know if you can see that or not, but my very first throw, I literally hit the band. So maybe it's a little easier than I thought, but I'm going to throw a couple more. That was cool. I guess this is the ace run hole. Throw 2 was an ace run as well. Just clipped off that little tree and I almost went in too, so I'm on fire today. Woo. Alright, someone's gonna get an ace on this basket. Probably first time out here. I had 3 out of 4 of them are ace runs. Let's go up there and see where the discs landed. I'm curious if any of them are OB long or anything like that. That's really the only risk. So I actually, once I reconsidered the T-pad location, I actually like the layout now. Oh look, check this out. Ooh, check this out. We've got my very first throw that hit band. Look at this, OB. This one, second throw, ace run, inbounds barely. Look at this, AVR. By 1.5 feet inbounds. And then my worst, well, my non-ace run is the only one that's truly not in danger of going OB. Left myself with a 20 footer. So keep that in mind when you're playing this basket. Is if you're going for the ace run, there's a very good chance that you're going to be going long onto the path OB. Past the path, I think, is not OB. We'll play it that way. But if your disc is on the path, you're OB. So, all right, it gives it a little bit more of a challenge. Ooh, all right, I just set down the pin for hole 7, right here on top of the hill again. And this one's going to be basically across the entire park. Definitely a par 4. The first of hopefully at least 2 more par 4s, maybe a par 5, we'll see. I want to walk my butt back to the T-pad and we're going to give this thing a try. The park is pretty open right now, so we can probably just start slinging. For me personally, I think my optimal landing zone is going to be somewhere 2/3 of the way down the soccer field. That's probably playing around 350 feet, somewhere in the middle there. And then the second shot is going to be the more tricky shot. The second shot is probably going to have to be like a spike hyzer shot over top of the play structure and the trees, all that stuff, to get yourself a look for the birdie. So your second shot is going to be much more challenging than the first, that's for sure. To get yourself in position to make a putt at top of the hill there. You can actually see the basket from here. It's like a mile. This one's got to be playing 700 plus feet. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Right there's the basket. Up on top of the hill again. So we're going to sling some discs here. Might probably throw a couple and see how far we can even get. And see if this is a manageable par 4 or if this is going to be one of the more challenging holes. Okay, that first throw is terrible. It just petered out way left, faded out way left, I should say. Undetermined if that's going to be considered OB or not yet. I should have read the wind a little bit better. That was kind of bad on my part. Let's throw one more. There's a tailing right to left wind, so that's why that disc just hides it out. So I'm going to go with something a little more understable. Okay, one more just for fun. I didn't quite get 2/3. I don't think. I think I got to like the middle of the soccer, right between the soccer goals. Third throw, I just yanked on it to see how far I could get with something a little more understable. Probably maybe the same distance, but off to the right. I think you're gonna want to be. You just want to get as far as possible you can down this fairway. I think a birdie from where I'm at is going to be extremely difficult. I think I'm still 400 plus feet away, uphill. So we're gonna see what our lie looks like when we get up here. I'm gonna take my best one just because this is just practicing fun stuff. So, all right, so you can see the disc in the lower right side there where it landed. I'm gonna do a kind of just a hyzer shot, hopefully over top of those trees in the back there. The goalposts here are actually kind of getting in my head a little bit, but I'm gonna be hopefully throwing well over top of them, just over a little bit more. But I think I'm walking up here now, and I think birdie is unfortunately out of the question. I'm just too freaking far away, unless I can drain a really long putt. That's not optimal. Probably couldn't see it there towards the end. It faded pretty hard again. I don't know what I'm not learning from my mistakes on the first try, but landed just short of the play structure area. I should be framed up okay for a pitch up for a par, but this is not a great shot from trying to get a birdie. Here, this is my third shot, barring a throw, and it's hopefully going to just be a par if I'm going to go with my NB for just kind of a soft hyzer pitch up to the top of the hill. Let's try something a little more understable. Pin high top of the hill. Yep, might have been the best one actually. Just kept it a little lower. So here's where we landed. Our first, not terrible, about 25 feet, maybe a little more uphill. I will say this is probably the nicest hole on the course. This is probably the signature one. And your green, look at the green here. Isn't that not picturesque? You got the ball golf course in the background. Top of the hill, play in the morning, you got the sun coming in. I already talked about this last time, but it's a very picturesque little location for a pin in my opinion. I don't think you can see me, but I like this one. All right, let's putt. So it's going to be a bogey tap in for me on hole 7. Kind of the first bogey of the round, sort of, but I think thus far, I think it's the coolest hole on the course. Par 4. If you have 400 feet of power and you're driving, you can get here for a birdie no problem. For little guys like me with 300 to 350 foot power, it's going to take basically 2 optimal drives to get to the hill for a longer putt. I think this plays over 700 feet. I really like this hole though. I think it's definitely parable. Let's see what we're going to do for hole 8. Ooh, it's getting hot out here. All right, it's probably only 10 in the morning. Hole 8. We are at the top of the hill again. This is another reason why you shouldn't be playing here with children, playing on the play structure, because this is going to be our first Mando, I think. So we're on the top of the hill, and this is going to be arguably the most challenging hole here. Let me flip this around. We're, like I said, at the top of the hill, and we have some mandos that we have to clear. We're going over top of play structure. Mando tree right here. Gotta stay right of that. Mando tree right here, the big guy, not the little guy. The two big guys. You gotta keep your drive in between them, and then we're gonna play to the north pin again. As long as you keep something straight enough, I think you'll be okay. This is gonna be another par 4, and I think the distance will be a little bit shorter. You are playing downhill too, so this could potentially be a little bit easier. But if you miss the Mando, you have to go to drop zone, which I think is gonna be the reverse tee pad of hole 1. So I'm gonna go get the pin in place, and then we're just gonna throw from here a few times and see how it goes. More mental notes real quick. I just put the pin down for hole 8, all the way down to the north side again. I'm at the top of the hill again, where the tee pad is gonna be. Don't wanna slip and fall like last time, so it should be interesting. Also, for when we actually do play this, the pin that is currently for hole 7 that I just moved down there, when we actually play, this pin is gonna be moved down for the peninsula down there again. We're gonna do that back and forth, snap, snap, snap. That way we have the tee pad clear up here at the top of the hill too. We don't have to work around it. So I'm gonna be putting little flags here where all the tee pads are gonna be for holes 2 and 8, are the 2 locations that are gonna be on the grass at the top of the hill for the tee pads. So let's launch a couple discs from here, see how it feels, see how it plays. Hopefully we don't slip. I'm already sweating my butt off, so all right, let's see how it goes. I don't know if you could see that or not. You probably could. So that shot was a little lucky. It was very low. This is why, again, I'm going to reiterate for the 400th time, don't play here when any kids are playing here, like, at all. Because that could have laser beamed right into a kid's head, gave him a concussion, he'd been in the ER, bleeding out. I'd be potentially in jail, or lawsuit at a minimum. Low laser beam shot that I just did right there. It got close to the, somewhere in between, well, close to the field, the goal for the soccer field. Kind of low, it was a little too low with the laser beam. I'm gonna throw one more. Okay, that was better. So the Mando, in my opinion, is very easy. It's not that challenging. Basically just forces people to not do, I don't even know if it's even necessary. I have to think about it. I don't know what else anyone would want to do here other than throw it straight. So maybe the Mando is pointless. Still a tough little shot. The second shot I just did there, a little higher. Got it safely over the play structure. I think I got a little farther, but I'm on the right side. Excuse me, I'm on the left side of the goalposts. I don't know if that's better or worse. Let's go down there and look at both the shots. So here's where the nuke landed. In perspective here, I was on the top of that hill. And looking here, she got some field goal posts in my way, but he just hyzer over top of them. I'm gonna take this, it's my second shot, the D3, which landed over here. Just a nice clean shot. It'll just be better to film on camera. I think you'll have a cleaner look. You might be able to see the basket. But this is still a bit of a punch. This is still, boy, 350 at least to the pin. I think you could still birdie this one though. I think this one's gonna play easier than this hole 7. This hole 8 I think is gonna be easier than 7. That was that scorch again. I'm really liking that disc, by the way. Flips up to flat, rides forever. To see the glide is insane on that disc. That's still a bit short, even though that was probably a 325-foot throw. That's a pretty far look. Like I said, 50, 55, 60 feet for a birdie. Easy par though. I think this hole is not that challenging. You get a good tee shot, good distance on your second shot, you can give yourself an easy look for birdie on this one. So I'll take a par, and then we're going to move on to the final hole, hole 9, the gauntlet. Would like to do at least one par 5 here, so let's see if I can think of something challenging enough and rewarding enough to deserve a par 5. It's got to be basically across the entire park to be deemed worthy of a par 5. We're going to have to put a Mando in here somewhere, I think, to give it a little more bite. So let's see what we can do. Okay, before I walk all the way down and put the pin in for hole 9, I think I did determine where I want my tee pad to be. It is right here near the north. There is the tennis courts on the left side. I wanted to use this for a fairway for 6, but if there's going to be a bunch of cars parked over here all the time, I don't want to mess around with this parking lot at all. Let's start on the path and look at this right here. We got a perfect little line for our tee pad right there. A nice little fairway here that's actually pretty tight that you have to get out of. So your first shot is pretty technical. You can't be right of any of this stuff. You have to be over top of the high fencing for the tennis courts, and there's a tree there too, and even further down. So you actually need to do a pretty tight little line that's going to get you out to the flat. It's probably not going to be too much distance because you're going to have to do either like a right hand backhand turnover shot that gets over top. I can't even see a forehand really, or something. You're just gonna have to throw something straight, pipe something straight through here. I think we're going to play it all the way down to the peninsula hole, and everything on this left side of the path over that way is going to be considered OB2. Let me think about that for a second. Make it more challenging to be determined a par 5. I don't know if we're gonna have any Mandos. I think about it. I don't know if there's anything that we could do to make it, I don't want to be cheap. I want it to be fun, but I don't really see any opportunities to force Mandos and to make it more fun or challenging yet. I'll have to think about it. Originally, I wanted to have hole 9 go over top of the tennis courts. You're basically throwing from the parking lot though, but it's just too dangerous. If there's one car parked there, like there is today, you just can't really throw there. It's too much risk. So I'm trying to keep everything more towards the actual park itself, trying not to get too close to other people in their cars. So I'm gonna drop this pin and see if we can figure out if there's anything else I want to do on this hole. I want to make this one real challenging. I want to make this one a very difficult par 5. I want to make this one excruciatingly rewarding for a birdie. So this will be mean. This is going to be kind of mean guy par 5, I think. So what I'm going to do, I think, instead of making this area I have in previous holes, hole 3 and 4, made this OB. I think what I'm going to do instead, there's going to be no OB, but there's going to be a very late, very pinching Mando, and it is going to be this tree. You're going to need to be right of. From the perspective of the tee pad, it is going to be left though. So you have this skinny little area here. So this might be very difficult to get a full visual of, but the tee pad is going to be down there, way down that tunnel, just to the left of the tennis courts there. First shot, you're not going to get a ton of distance, I don't think, and then your second shot, you got to go big. You got to throw like 400 feet because you want to get here, roughly. Obviously not on the pad, but this is your Mando tree. You got to be left of this Mando tree. So you want to be here for after your second shot, maybe even your third shot, unfortunately, if you're playing for par. And then your next shot, this is all going to be safe over here. So you got to get around there. That's another 300 plus feet all the way to the pin. But no OB. The only OB, as always, is just the paths and the chips. So there's some OB. Paths and the wood chips, play structure, stuff like that. Let's see how hard this plays. I'm going to play this hole as I just told you, and I just drew it up in my mind. So we're going to play it and see if I par this thing my first try. Maybe it's really not that bad. We'll see, because it's far. It's got to be 900 feet. All right, this is hole 9, par 5. Me trying to just peer this little gap here and get out to the flat. But I think what I'm going to try to do is do a big flex over the top, try to get a little more distance with an F3. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I missed my line definitely. Hit the tree on the right side. Got out to the middle. Sorry, probably can't see me. Got out to the middle. It was not very far though. I'm going to try one more. That was a scorch again with a lot of glide. Didn't really turn, but it stayed flat, and it hit the line perfectly in that little area there. So let's go see how those look. Okay, I'm on the other side of the tennis courts now. My F3 that hit some tree only landed here. We got a long ways to go. I'm gonna pick this one up and I'm gonna take my second shot, cheat a little bit, but it's just for practice purposes. I'm gonna take the scorch that landed up here, an extra 50 plus feet. Maybe even more, landed all the way up here to give myself a chance to get in position for this third shot. So disc here, and I got to get left of that tree for the Mando. All right, second shot, I'm actually gonna go with the Scorch again because I want to get a little bit of bend in this and I don't want to go too far left. Two turns, so that's gonna be super pinched off from the Mando. I'm so short of it though, so I can probably just do some weird shot around it. All right, so this is where you don't want to be. This was my Scorch. That is the Mando tree that I need to be left of. That's the pin down there. Oop, down there somewhere. So I need to do some type of stupid shot to get around here. This is where it gets challenging because normally I could just, if there was no Mando, there's a chance I could get the birdie on this actually if I just go attack straight ahead at 300 feet. But I have to spend a shot getting around this stupid thing. My forehand game is pretty bad, so it's essentially just a little pitch. All right. Okay, guys. We got to tap in for our par on the gauntlet here. The par 5. I did take my second drive though on it, so it's a little bit of a cheap 5, but that was crazy. That's a hard birdie. You need to have, again, I think if you have 400 plus feet of power, I think you could probably slay this course. But fortunately for me, my competitors throw just about as hard as I do for the most part, so it'll be pretty even once we do actually come out here and play this course. But I'm going to put it on U-disc, so if somebody out there in Southeast Michigan is so inclined to play this course on a day where there is very little to no activity, you're going to want to, it's BYOB, bring your own basket. I would recommend the way that the layout is, if you can get a hold of 3 total baskets, I think you will be doing very minimal movements of one basket in particular. So I think you can get away with it pretty easily with 3. If you have 4 baskets, you don't have to, you set them in place, you don't have to move anything. So actually, ideally 4, but you can get away with 3. You could really get away with 2, but you're gonna be doing sub movements on the south side of the park. The north side pin, it's really far. You're gonna wanna leave that one. But all in all, I think it's a pretty challenging course. I think someone could come out here and they could shoot. They could really shoot 500-600 if they got a little bit of power. I could maybe shoot, I don't know, on a good day, maybe 300. We'll see. I shot sort of. It's not really shooting. I picked up a couple and I threw a couple seconds, but I shot around even, maybe 1 or 2 over first time through. So just some final thoughts about the course. This is my first course I've ever designed. It will be on U-disc. You will have to search for it though. It's not going to be in the public records, so only those select few who have watched this video will know that it exists. You're going to go onto U-disc and search Butterboy's Gauntlet. And getting out here, we are going to eventually, we're going to play this course. It'll probably be on Crusader Disc Golf channel, which is my brother's channel. We're going to do it kind of like we did the Bay Court Invitational, where it's just me, Eric, and Donnie most likely. We might get a 4th, we'll see. But we're going to play the course. We're going to play it, like we did for Bay Court. We're going to play it 2 times over. There are no longs and shorts at this time though. It's just the layout. We're just going to play the layout 2 times over. So we look forward to that, hopefully coming soon. Yeah, so if there's any comments, questions, concerns, you have any ideas to improve this course, let me know in the comments, or you can email me. Let me know on U-disc, let me know on IG, anything. All right, guys, talk to you later.